A 14-year-old girl is missing for over 4 years, and then in 2023, she comes back. On the morning of September 13th, 2019, 2 days before she would disappear, Alicia Navarro told her mother that she was feeling a little bit more anxious than usual. She asked if she could skip school that day. Her mother, Jessica Nunez, agreed. She took Alicia to McDonald's to get her favorite meal. The two of them spent the day together doing activities that Alicia liked, and then they returned home that afternoon. By all accounts, it was a good day, normal day, and a day that Alicia's mom would replay in her head over and over again, wondering if she missed something. Alicia Navarro was 14 years old. She lived with her mother, her stepfather, and her two younger siblings in Glendale, Arizona. She had been diagnosed with high-functioning autism at a very young age, and because of that, she relied heavily on her mother for a lot of things, a big one being reassurance in social situations. Alicia was the kind of girl that liked what she was used to. She loved routine. She was very selective about her food, and any change to her schedule would cause her anxiety to go up significantly. Her daily routine was eating the same meals every day, wearing either long-sleeved shirts or hoodies every day, regardless of the temperature outside, and going to and from the same places every single day. She didn't have many close friends at school, given that any face-to-face in-person interaction could very easily overwhelm her, but online, playing video games, she was different. She was around 10 or 11 years old when she started spending more time on the internet, and it made sense. She really liked it because it made her feel comfortable. She could still play games and socialize with other kids online without having the added pressure of having to stand in front of someone making eye contact. She just preferred it, and it also made her feel safe because it was something that she could do from the comfort of her own home. Her mother said Alicia's otherwise introverted personality took on a different kind of energy when she would play games online. She also described her to be very intelligent, very shy, but very, very kind. Quote, "My daughter was a really loving and caring person. Everywhere she went, if it was an animal or a person, she cared," end quote. And as supportive as her mother Jessica was in regards to doing whatever made Alicia happy, and even though the two of them were best friends apart from just being mother and daughter, Jessica was her mother at the end of the day, and safety always came first. Which is why when she found out that Alicia had been sharing personal information on an internet chat at one time, she sat her down and she explained to her how you shouldn't be talking to strangers online. Explaining that you really don't know who the person is that is behind the screen and that you don't know what their intentions could be. Saying, look, have fun all you want, play the games that you want to play, just do not share anything personal about you, your family, where you live, anything like that online. By 2019, Alicia Navarro was 14 years old and she was a freshman in high school, and she was still the same in regards to her daily routine, eating the same foods, going to school, coming home to play video games. But in regards to her appearance, there were some changes that her mom started to notice in her. She started to express interest in makeup and different clothing items that were not all long sleeved like she was used to. She would talk about hanging out with friends outside of school, which was huge. And she also showed interest in a specific comic book and a protein powder, which may sound kind of random, but that's my point. She started talking about certain things that she had never really talked about before, on top of being interested in changing things about her appearance. It was different. She was different. But also, freshman in high school, that is peak of when a teenager starts to figure out what she likes, what she doesn't like. So changes in a girl her age are expected given that she's now entering this new phase of her life. The night of September 14th, 2019, Alicia was in her room. She played video games until a little bit after midnight. Sometime before 1 a.m., she went downstairs for a glass of water. Her mom was still awake downstairs. She was waiting for her husband to get home from work, aka Alicia's stepdad. He worked night shifts, but Jessica saw her daughter. Alicia looked happy, normal. She asked her mom when she was planning on going to sleep, saying that she needed to make sure that she got enough sleep. They chatted for a minute until Alicia eventually went back upstairs. Alicia's stepdad got home around 2 in the morning, and him and Jessica eventually fell asleep as well. That night was the last time that Jessica Nunez saw her daughter. The next morning, Jessica noticed that Alicia wasn't coming downstairs at the time when she normally would have. They went to go check on her, and she wasn't in her bed. After the immediate shock and confusion, things only got weirder because Jessica noticed that there was something on Alicia's bed. It was a note. She left a note on her pillow that read, quote, "I ran away. I will be back. I swear. I'm sorry," end quote. You can imagine the shock and the big wave of concern that absolutely consumed Jessica when she read that note. Not only because Alicia was only 14 years old and had no business sneaking out, but she was also the kind of girl that did not feel comfortable at all in new places, in the dark, in the middle of the night, nor with anyone else apart from her mom, basically. Alicia had a routine. She had always had one, and she followed it religiously because if something out of the ordinary happened, she didn't handle it well. And she had been that way kind of her entire life. So what in the world could have made her walk away from her bedroom, from her house, on her own accord? Jessica and the stepdad searched the neighborhood immediately, and when they peeked around their house, they found something in the backyard. Chairs that had been stacked up against the brick wall, and shoe prints matching Alicia's size leading up and over the fence. Alicia had also taken a small black backpack with cat ears, a sweatshirt, a pair of shoes, makeup, a body spray, her iPhone, and her MacBook, but she had left behind the charges to all of those. That detail in itself proved to be a very significant one, because you don't forget your chargers if you're planning on running away and being gone for a while. You don't take your chargers with you if you do plan on coming back and you know that you won't need them, but you could forget them if someone was waiting for you outside and you needed to leave fast. Maybe you forget them if you're in a hurry, or if you think that wherever you are headed will have whatever you need. What was interesting as well was that Alicia had walked down a path that was not covered by the neighbor's surveillance camera. Whether she did that on purpose or not, we don't know for sure, but it felt like a very big possibility that she had planned this, or that somebody else had planned it for her. Glendale police were notified that morning. The case grew very, very quickly. The FBI got involved. A $20,000 reward was offered. Billboards went up, not only in Arizona, but also in California. Jessica herself had them put up in Nevada, Texas, and Mexico too, anywhere she thought that Alicia might be seen. But there was nothing. No phone activity, no social media activity, no trace, no leads. Jessica herself said from very early on that she believed that Alicia could have been talking to a stranger online, someone that may have been encouraging her to leave her house that night. Quote, according to the evidence, I do believe that she was lured online, end quote. And the evidence did support her. Remember, months before the disappearance, Jessica had discovered that Alicia had been chatting with someone online and given them information that she should not be giving out to strangers. Come to find out, the person that she was talking to was a man that was much older than her. Who that man was is unclear, which makes me think that there was little to no information on whatever online profile he had. There was also the fact that one of Alicia's friends had mentioned to authorities that Alicia had mentioned that she was planning on running away, and she had also mentioned something about having a burner phone. Another one of Alicia's friends mentioned that she had mentioned to him that she had a boyfriend. There was also a witness that came forward early on in the investigation saying that they believed that they had seen Alicia walking around the area with a much older man. But other than that, authorities didn't really have much to go off. There was little to no evidence that was proving to be actually beneficial. And it was a tricky one, because as weird as it seemed, as far off as it would have been for Alicia to have wanted to leave on her own accord, any sort of clues or witness statements to authorities in their eyes did feel like she had left on her own accord. She was 14 though. Weeks turned into months, months turned into a year, then 2 years, then 3 years. Alicia's last words to her mother were written on that piece of paper. I ran away. I will be back. I swear I'm sorry. In September of 2022, her mom, Jessica, stated, quote, I'm still waiting for her to fulfill her promise, end quote. Jessica never stopped. She hired private investigators. She partnered with a Florida-based nonprofit that works with online cases like Alicia's. She kept buying billboards. She kept talking to the media. She kept going, because there was no world in which Jessica was just going to accept that her daughter was gone. And then, on Sunday, July 23rd, 2023, 1,407 days after Alicia walked over that backyard wall and left her house, something happened that nobody expected. A young woman walked into the Montana Police Department, a small town roughly 35 miles from the Canadian border, and identified herself as Alicia Navarro. She said that she had been reported missing and that she wanted to clear her status. She was 18 years old. Crazy. Amazing that she was alive, obviously, but crazy. That police station contacted Glendale police immediately, and 3 days later, Glendale police held a press conference. Quote, Alicia Navarro has been located. She is by all accounts safe. She is by all accounts healthy, and she is by all accounts happy, end quote. Of course, this was the best news. I mean, there are no words to explain the relief that Jessica felt when she heard that her daughter was still alive, yet a million questions that needed to be answered. Where had she been? Who had she been with? What happened that night all the way back in 2019? Why Montana and why now? Detectives spoke to Alicia by video conference. The exchange was pretty brief, and authorities released 27 seconds of it. Quote, did anyone hurt you in any way? No, no one hurt me. Okay, because our goal is we just want to make sure that you're safe. I understand that. Thank you for offering to help me, end quote. Jessica posted a video on Facebook shortly after the return of Alicia was announced. Quote, I do feel that I owe this video to the community and to God. I want to give glory to God for answering prayers and for this miracle. For everyone who has missing loved ones, I want you to use this case as an example. Miracles do exist. Never lose hope and always fight, end quote. She also said that she herself didn't have any details, but that the important thing was that Alicia was alive. But this was not a quick ending, case closed. It was, as Glendale PD said at the time, quote, probably only the beginning of where this investigation will go, end quote. Alicia was located in Montana. Her family, if you remember, lived in Arizona. And she stayed in Montana after she went to the police station to say, hey, it's me, I'm alive, I'm here. So her mom had to identify her, or was able to identify her through FaceTime, but she had not yet seen her in person. And again, so many questions still left unanswered. When police officers in Montana arrived to investigate, they found that Alicia had not been alone. She had been living in an apartment with a man by the name of Edmund Davis, 36 years old at the time, in his apartment. And neighbors of his told investigators that the two of them had been living together for at least a year. Police officers were able to get a search warrant to search Edmund's apartment, and that's when things got dark, for lack of a better word. When officers arrived, Alicia was the one to answer the door. Officers saw Edmund in the kitchen in the background throwing a cell phone into a trash can and placing items on top of it as if he was trying to hide it. In other words, he was caught in real time trying to throw away evidence. The phone and other electronic devices were seized. Forensic investigators went through them, and on them they found a lot of material and evidence related to CP, from as young as 5 years old to 13. In October of 2023, Edmund Davis was charged with 2 felony counts of SA of children. However, investigators were careful to note that those charges were not formally connected to Alicia's case. That said, he was the man that she had been living with, and he had spent years, possibly beginning when she was 14 years old, if not younger, in contact with her. In September of 2024, he pled guilty to 1 out of the 2 counts, and on February 11th of 2025, he was sentenced to 100 years in the Montana State Prison with 50 years suspended. He will not be eligible for parole for another 25 years, I believe. Jessica Nunez responded publicly, quote, "I'm very happy that he is behind bars and he won't cause any more harm. I can't recover the years that I was not with her, and I cannot change the trauma, but I can appreciate my daughter is alive and that we are healing." From what I could find, we do know that Alicia and her mom were eventually reunited in person. However, authorities, I don't think to this day, have said how Alicia ended up in Montana, and Edmund Davis has not been charged in connection with her disappearance. So whatever happened in those 4 years, whatever was said to her online, whatever promises were made, and whatever she experienced inside of that apartment in Montana is still not fully known to the public. And honestly, because she is alive and well and happy and healthy and with her family, I don't think that it should be, because if, say it was something bad, and being in an apartment with a man like that, I doubt anything good happened inside of the apartment. Say it was traumatizing, which it probably was, she needs to heal. And having the worst experience of her life all over the media and all for the public to read all the details and everything that happened, that can't be good for her. So maybe it is good that we don't know. I'm happy to say that the latest update that I could find is that Alicia is now working, receiving counseling, and preparing to attend college. She is, I think, around 20 years old now, maybe 21. But yeah, everything says that she is healing, she's with family, she's working on getting some sense of normalcy now, which is all that you can hope for, and I hope that she is well and happy. We've covered cases on my page before where I'm like, this is crazy, and then sometimes it happens that I look into it and then I have more questions. But I'm just relieved that that man is behind bars, because ew. Yeah, that is all I have for today. Thank you for spending time with me today and for listening to Alicia's story. Hope you guys are having the best day. If not, go do something to make it the best day. And I mean it when I say that. Like, if you are not having a good day, go do something that you know makes you happy. Go for a walk, go buy yourself ice cream, get yourself a treat. You deserve it. And I will see you guys in my next video. Massive kiss on the forehead to every single one of you.